8:53, we don't think about it often, but our connections with the rest of the world depend on cables that crisscross the sea between the UK and its neighbours. They carry internet and phone communications, and in recent years, they've sometimes mysteriously been cut. A new report by Policy Exchange says we are vulnerable. Its author is Marcus Solarz Hendriks, Foreign Policy and Defence Research Fellow at Policy Exchange. We can speak to him now. Morning, Marcus.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Great pleasure. What are we talking about here? What's the risk that you perceive?
So in our new report, Policy Exchange, we show that threats to the undersea domain are proliferating, showing that we've arrived in a new warfare of a new age of seabed warfare. Now, much is known about the threat that Russia poses in the Euro-Atlantic. We see quite regular reports about suspicious Russian vessels moving around the North Sea and further north. But our paper shows that one area of increasing concern now is around the Arabian Peninsula, where Iran and its affiliated militias, particularly the Houthis, now have the means and the motivation to begin targeting cables in this area, which is one of the... Sorry.
So, what would happen, Marcus, if say they blew up a line of cable? What happens? What's the consequence?
Yeah, so these cables are the unseen arteries which undergird global digital and energy routes. The Bab el-Mandab in the Red Sea is one of the three global cable choke points where 16 cables pass between Europe, Africa and Asia, one of which the AAE1 in particular is 25,000 kilometres long. So if one of these cables suspiciously went bang in the night, this would cause widespread disruption to all digital routes. And of course, that includes anything from WhatsApps between friends, to government emails, to even intelligence reports between allies across multiple continents. So the risks are very severe.
So these cables, effectively, when you send messages, the information that comprises these messages goes along these cables often?
Yes, exactly. 99% of all digital communications now pass through these cables, rather than what you may expect when we talk about the clouds above us.
Yeah.
This is not satellite transmission. This is all happening essentially far below the ocean.
And presumably you can't really police 25,000 kilometres under the sea, because it would only take one boat or one submarine, one point along that line. It's very difficult to defend against.
Exactly, and this is one of the key points that we make in our new report, is that what is so strategically attractive for targeting these cables now for Iran and its groups, and indeed Russia and China further afield, is the relative kind of not ease, obviously, because it's sophisticated, but rather the large potential damage and systemic damage that can be done to many countries for rather vulnerable, unguarded and static targets.
Yeah, I mean, it's sophisticated, but it's still easier than all sorts of other things you would imagine. Marcus, really interesting stuff. I had no idea about any of that, as you might imagine, so thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
That's Marcus Solarz Hendriks there, talking about the things that go under the sea.
Oh, I'm fascinated by this undersea cable thing. It's just mad. There's so much of it.
Yeah, and then what happens if someone decides to blow it, which I'm sure they will do. Hopefully not just because they've listened to that. I'm sure they were planning it anyway.
Yes, well, we'll keep across that for you on Times Radio.